20 points and could not slow down star Tyrese Halliburton. He had 32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, and 0 turnovers. Timberwolves face a must-win Game 5 West Finals tonight against the Thunder. 8 Eastern ESPN Radio, 8:30 Eastern ESPN. Oilers could be without a key player in their postseason success in the potential closeout Game 5 NHL's West Final tomorrow. Forward Zach Hyman exited last night's win over the Stars with an undisclosed injury. Panthers can end the Hurricane season and advance to the Stanley Cup Final a third straight year with a win in Game 5 of the East Final tonight.
I'm going to get me open.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown and it is you.
Lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. Listening to another station I don't understand. Nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. They go up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
Yes, I'm on here. Am I on? Somebody respond.
Must be Wednesday. I called it Humpday.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is.
Does it feel like Tuesday? No, it's Hump Day. It feels like Tuesday, doesn't it? Because it's like, because of that whole Monday holiday thing. It screws me up for the entire week. I got to be honest with you. It screws me up for the entire week. But it is Hump Day today in the Doghouse, getting us closer to that weekend. It's also day 2 of the SEC spring meetings. So we have that to unpack. And look, I know some of you are confused by this and how it relates to SEC Media Days, which is coming up in July in Atlanta during the Major League Baseball All-Star break, by the way, for the second year in a row. Because that was the case last year when we were in Dallas. It was the Major League Baseball All-Star break. We didn't go to the game or anything or the home run derby, but it was going on at that whole point in time when we were in Dallas. Well, it's going to be in Atlanta this year during SEC Media Day. So it's going to be a thing. I mean, I hope the big guy has gotten our house lined up yet or whatever, or hotel rooms or whatever with the All-Star game there. I don't know. But in any event, look, next year's All-Star game is in Philadelphia. I'm pretty confident that SEC Media Days will not be in Philadelphia next year. So I think that we'll be all right with that. But what's going on in Destin this week is really more news making, actually. I mean, there are meetings that are taking place all day with the coaches and the administrators and the muckety mucks of the SEC. So all of that is going on. And there's only like a couple of radio stations down there. And of course, Paul Feinbaum is down there. Now, 97.7 ESPN The Zone is there with Steve Moulton and Wes Neighbors. So we're getting some firsthand info on that. But Media Days is more of a puff piece. Media Days is the unofficial kickoff. Media Days is a convention for those that cover college football and cover the SEC, really, and college football nationally, because, what's college football without the SEC? You know what I'm saying? So it's a convention of all of those folks, and every one of the teams come through, but they're only there for a few hours. It's not like this. The coaches are there in Destin the whole week, all right, or at least the 3 days of these spring meetings. Whereas in SEC Media Days, you get the coaches and new players like 3 hours, and that's it. All right. And they rotate them and so on. So that's more of a a celebration. It's kind of a lighthearted commentary and so on. It's rare that any major news comes out. And I've been covering SEC Media Day since 2004 was my first one. So this will be, I don't know, 21 years, 22 years, something like that, 21 years for me. Typically, you don't get a lot of news. Now, of course, the major exception to that was in 2021. On the final day of SEC Media Days in 2021, it was leaked that Oklahoma and Texas were coming to the SEC. Oh, my gosh. I mean, that was... And it wasn't an official announcement. The SEC didn't announce it. It'll always go down in history. People say, remember Media Days in 2021 when the SEC announced that Texas and Oklahoma... No, they did not. The announcement didn't come for weeks later. It was a rumor. It was well-placed sources close to me. That, I mean, we all said that. There were, there's 45 radio stations at SEC Media Days, and we were all saying the same thing. Sources close to me are reporting that, and we always get Greg Sankey on my show the last day of SEC Media Days to kind of wrap the whole thing up. He would not touch it. I mean, everybody was asking Sankey about it. He would neither confirm nor deny that Texas and Oklahoma were coming to the SEC. So it wasn't official at that particular point in time. But, man, that thing ripped through Radio Row like wildfire. There's no Radio Row in Destin. But that thing there at SEC Media Days in 2021, I don't even know where we were. Let me think about this. Carry to one. Might have been in Hoover. I hope we're going back to Hoover next year. It's been a minute, right? Nashville, Dallas, Atlanta, and it's time to go back to Hoover. Hopefully we are. We'll be there. We'll have full and complete coverage for you there from an audio and video standpoint. So stations that have my show, you'll get that coverage from down there. We welcome those of you that are watching on the X and the Facebook and the YouTube. You can check that out if you haven't yet. Snag the video at my X feed, which is at Thom Abraham Show. We welcome those of you that are listening on the apps of your favorite station if they have one. Those of you listening in Nashville on WNSR. Those of you listening in Winchester on WCDT and in Huntsville on our flagship station, WZZN. There are 6 signals in all, although there's some work going on right now. Those of you that have been trying to get the signal in Smyrna and Murfreesboro in that area, there's some construction going on down there with that. So you're going to have to listen on 95.9 if you're listening there. 97.7 in Huntsville and 106.9 in Winchester. And then there's 560 AM in Nashville and 1340 in Franklin County and so on. If you're listening in North Alabama, it's just 97.7. It covers everything. Everything. Just one phone number, though. 256-576-4977. 256-576-4977. Get you into the show. Text window, 7329-TA show. This is a text window. Do not call the text window. Some of you have been calling the text window again. I get these little messages that say, missed a call from... No missed calls at the text window. Text window, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. Throw it in there. It comes up on the text window. Boom, I read them. When we get a chance, we read those and we comment on those. Some of you, can't call from work or whatever. Text window. Phone number, 256-576-4977. Check out your big zone deals. You got great deals all around the Tennessee Valley. Coming soon, we have big Nash deals as well. Was looking at that today. Got tremendous offers throughout Middle Tennessee coming on that soon. Just search those out on the Google and get an account so that you're notified when those deals pop. There are several right now on big zone deals that you can go and snag. And you don't have to be, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you're listening to the show. Okay, you can still make those purchases. On the show today, at the bottom of this hour, Kennington, Lloyd, Smith. He will join us with discussion regarding the changes to the upcoming playoff and the SEC's potential pivot to now endorsing potentially the 5+11 format. This is the one where the 5 highest ranked conference champs automatically qualify, and then the next highest ranked 11 teams. This is a dramatic difference from the 4+4+2+2+1 and 3 at-large bid system, which guarantees that the SEC and the Big 10 would have 4 spots, plus 2 from the ACC, 2 to the Big 12, 1 from the other 6 conferences. Well, it's really not 1 from the other 6 conferences. It's just, it's 1 from the other 6 conferences. It's the top 5 highest ranked conference champions, right? There's 10 conferences. There's no more. There's no, look, we call them the P4, Power 4. It's really the Power 2. It's not like back in the day where there was like somebody from the group of 5. It's not necessarily, it will be. It's a group of 6, right? When by the time we get to 2026, the Pac-12 will have their 7th and 8th team. Right now, they've got 6 teams for 2026. Because remember, they added Boise State and San Diego State and Colorado State, these types of people. They're the Mountain West Light is what they are. All right, so what's going to end up happening, they'll get to 8, so they're an official conference. But it's not like, well, they're a group of 6 and a Power 4. No, it's Power 2 and group of 8. I mean, that's just designations for us. They mean nothing. That term means nothing. It used to be Power 5, Group of 5. Well, the Power 5 conferences and then somebody from the Group of 5. It isn't that. It's the top 5 conference champions. Top 5 conference champions will get in. Now, the 5+11 is the top 5 conference champions. It could be, theoretically, it could be the SEC, the Big 10, the ACC, the MAC, and the Sun Belt. And the Big 12 would be, you know what I mean? It's just the top 5 conference champs. That's it. It's not guaranteed to be any. It could be in another reality, in another world. Theoretically, it could be the Mountain West, the American, the Sun Belt, the MAC, and Conference USA. This could be the top 5 ranked conference champs. Never going to happen in our lifetime, but you know what I mean. See what I'm saying? There's no designation. Now, in this 4+4+2+2+1, yes, 4 for the Big 10 and 4 for the SEC and 2 for the Big 12 and 2 for the ACC and 1 for everybody else. And then 3 at-large berths. I gotta be honest with you, I don't like it. I tell you right now, I don't like it. I'm not with that system. I've made a decision. I'm with the 5+11 system. I'm with the 5+11 system. That's where I'm going. As much as I would love to see these play-in games to get to one of the 4, the 3 and the 4 spot in the SEC and the Big 10, I shudder to think of what it would be like to have the 6th ranked team in the SEC, or even worse, the 6th ranked team in the Big 10 playing 3 on championship weekend. And what if 6 upsets 3? And now all of a sudden, Minnesota is going to the playoff because they, in a one-day game, after an entire season has been played out, not a 6th place team beat the 3rd place team in the conference. If Michigan is the 3rd place team in the conference and they get upset by Minnesota, all of us, Penn State, Ohio State, and then Michigan's 3rd. The Michigan's got to play Minnesota, which finished 6th. If Michigan earned 3rd, they should be in the tournament. It's the way that should be. So I'm not with that system. I think in the end, guaranteeing anything more than your conference champ creates a scenario where you are forcing a 4th team into the tournament that may not be deserving. I mean, sure, right now it seems like a no-brainer, but who knows what the future holds? We're trying to do something that lasts, so they don't have to change the system every year, so I have to spend 20 minutes explaining it. And look, we're saying 2 guaranteed for the Big 12 in that system, right? That 4-4-2-2-1, saying 2 guaranteed for the Big 12. Well, you know what? Last season, they only had 1 in the playoff. 1. Arizona State, their champion. That was it. Under the 5+11 system, they don't have 1 in a 16-team playoff. Why are we guaranteeing them 2? The ACC would have had 3. They would have had Clemson, who won the ACC. They would have had SMU, and they would have had Miami. The Big Ten would have had 4. And the SEC would have had 6 under a 5+11 system. 6. You'd have added Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina to the 3 that they had last year. 6. I'll be honest with you. 5+11 is a little saltier. I like it. Now they'd have 6 in a 4-4-2-2-1-2, but what if 4 years from now the conference only has 3 decent teams? I mean, with this whole, NIL and transfer portal thing, I think the talent's getting spread around more evenly. I think the days of the SEC being 8 or 9 or 10 teams deep, better than, all these other conferences. I think even the Big Ten's going to have some depth now. The Big Ten's typically been, Ohio State, Michigan. And then there's another level, Iowa, Wisconsin, Penn State, and then everybody else. So the Big Ten's getting more talent. So we don't know who, 5 conference champions, yes, and 11 at large. To me, that would work. I say take your chances with the 11 at large. The SEC could get 7. They could get 4. They could get 3. They could get 5. 5 plus 5 conference champs, 5 highest ranked conference champs, and 11 at-large teams. Let's go. Now, the trickier area is this whole double bye part of the format for the top 2 teams, or, as the 10 and the SEC want, their conference champs. Maybe the SEC champ and the Big Ten champ get a double bye, which makes their conference championship very valuable. I'm not sure how many people are aware of that part of the proposal. That's in the 5+11 proposal. It's a double bye for 1 and 2. Not 1 bye, a double bye for 1 and 2. It's worth the discussion. I'll throw that in. At the top of the one, David Moulton from Miller and Moulton in the Morning, and who works as Troy Aikman's spotter on Monday Night Football and with Gary Danielson in college football, will join us with his thoughts on all of this as well. Plus, we are close to having the final set in both the NBA and NHL playoffs as Indiana put the Knicks down 3-1, as did the Oilers over the Stars. We are closing in on a Stanley Cup rematch with the Panthers and the Oilers, which would be great theater. And in the NBA, it looks like the Thunder and the Pacers, which may or may not be a good series, but the Mucky-Mucks at ABC have to be freaking out, because that is a ratings dud. And by the way, for the record, Oklahoma City 29-1 this year against the East. 29-1. 29-1. The Cavs won 1 game against OKC. That was the only game won by an Eastern Conference team against OKC. Look, I know I'm a Knicks fan. You guys know I'm a Knicks fan. I don't play this game where, I'm not a fan of teams. I'm not a reporter. I'm an entertainer. I'm a sports entertainer. This is a show. This isn't a program. This is a show. Okay? So I'm not afraid to say I'm a Knicks fan. But I'm saying this not as a Knicks fan. The NBA, ABC, ESPN, they need the Knicks in that final. They need the Knicks in that final. The Western Conference Finals are pulling like mid $5 million in their games, which is down significantly in the ratings, while the East is getting mid $7 million, which is up significantly. And by the way, the audience for the Knicks and Pacers is 50% higher than in 2000, the last time they met in a conference final, in the early years of TNT's basketball coverage. So there's that. All right, back at Command Central, playing the platters that matter to Stacks of Wax. Answer the phones, keeping us on the air. Probably not too happy with the Braves. They better start winning some games against the Phillies. But enjoying his Stanley Cup playoffs. Still one and the only Jumping Joe Hunk.
Do you know who I am?
No, who is this?
Who is this guy?
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I'm very important.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I don't like violence. I'm a businessman.
You want to boo me? Fine.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
You come at the Kings, you better not miss.
No, you're rolling. Shut your mouth. You jabroni.
Let me show for y'all. Got a damn good show.
I will not wear that body man.
Joe, the unknown texter says, I think that the 5 plus 11 would be far better. The SEC needs to stop begging for 4 predetermined. It's a bad look. 5 plus 11 gives a better chance to play out the regular season field. I agree. I think that for the Big Ten and the SEC to be saying, well, we want 4 guaranteed spots. You know what? That it is a bad look. It's just to stop that. I mean, if you're what you think you are and what you say you are. Last year, the SEC would have had 6 under this format. Just play, and you'll get what you get.
I think that honestly, they should just walk in and tell them what we're doing. This is it. This is what we're doing. Yeah. You guys want to argue? You try to go have a tournament.
But should they argue? Should they argue for 5 plus 11, or should they argue for 4, 4, 4, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1?
I think it should be like a 4 and a 12. Like, I don't think that we need 5 conference champions. I just think, whichever conference, the 4 best conferences,
plus 4 instead of plus 5. Yeah. I think the reason they go plus 5 is that it de facto is a group of 5 conference. You know what I mean? It gives them, because here's the thing. Realistically, if you go plus 4, if you go 4 plus 12, which I like where you're going with that, but if you go 4 plus 12, in a lot of years, most years, the team out of the American or the team out of the Mountain West or the team, you're not going to get a team from those other any of those other 6 conferences. You're not.
That's the reason why I say just do 4 plus 12, and the 4 best conference or the 4 highest ranked conference champions get in. All right, there we go. There's your standard. Like, not SEC, not Power 5, not Power 4, right. 4 best conferences.
Typically, then that would be, that's going to be the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC. Typically, that's what that would end up being. And especially like Boise State last year. Now, Boise State was the 5th, of the 5 conference champions, highest ranked. But Boise State in 2026, when we're talking about this going into in effect, will be in the Pac-12. So they, if you went 4 and they're not in the top 16, then they're not going to get in. And many years, the highest ranked team out of what will be a group of 6 conferences are not in the top 16. But you're okay with that, right? You don't need little Johnny to be in there, because what could happen still is that you could have the highest ranked conference, 5th highest ranked conference champion could be number 18 Memphis. But you're saying screw that. They're number 18.
I don't want little Johnny on the same football field with the 4 biggest conference on Saturdays.
Yeah.
I don't care. I want, we want to improve the sport. You've got to improve the ratings, and Alabama playing San Jose State isn't improving the ratings. Give me better football games. So if you want to be one of the 4 best conference champions, build one of the 4 best teams and build one of the best teams in your conference and become one of the 4 best conference champions.
Or then be in the top 16. If you say 4 plus 12, that doesn't stop Memphis from getting in or any of these teams. You just have to be in the top 16.
Absolutely.
If you're not in the top 16, you don't deserve to be there.
Make the conference champions mean the conference championships actually mean something. Again, or continue to mean something. And then if you're one of the 16 best teams in the country, then there you go. Have at it. Like, I hate this whole tiers of a Power 5, Group of 5, and all that other stuff. Just give me 4 conference champions. Give me the other 12 best teams in the country. Let's go play football.
Now, you say the conference championships to mean something. If it means just getting in one plays 16 and two plays 15, then did it mean that much? If you're look, we're going to go one way or the other. If we're not the conference champ, we know we're one of the top team. We're not.
That's
top
where the bowl
team.
games have to go, because I don't care. Like, you playing in the Cotton Bowl doesn't give you a home field advantage. If I'm one of the top 2 teams in the country, do I want to go play in the Cotton Bowl where it's a neutral site, or do I want to have home field advantage throughout all the playoffs?
Top 8, yeah. If they go straight 1 through 16, then the top 8 would have home games. But the point is that the reason they're talking about this double bye system for the top 2, because then winning the SEC or the Big Ten championship really means something, because you get a double bye. I mean, you're not in the round of 16, you're not in the round of 8, you get a double bye, and I'll explain how that will work. But I don't know if that's too much.
I mean, having the bye worked really well for the teams in this year's college football playoff.
Oh no, it was terrible.
So why would you want a double bye where the other team that you're going to play has the opportunity to play 2 games before you play 1?
Yeah, well, theoretically, sitting around while the other guys are beating themselves up is supposed to help your team.
Well, yeah, but there's also something to be said about playing in a conference or in a championship atmosphere, getting all those, nerves out, every bit of that, and then going in and playing it. Because that's what I'm saying is we're making this way too difficult because we're trying to be too cute with it.
Well, remember 2 of those bye teams, though, last year, in fairness, 2 of those bye teams last year were Arizona State and Boise State, which were not even top 10 teams. So you're not going to have those kind of teams getting any kind of a bye. That was the problem with that system, is like we're giving byes to teams that aren't even in the top 10. And so, maybe it would have been different if that was Notre Dame and Georgia or, whoever that was, getting those byes. But that's where the discussion comes in, and that's why they're having all these meetings. All right, let me get Smokey Mike in here before we get to Kennington Lloyd Smith. Smokey Mike, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Big Dog. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
I would like to know why I'm hearing a certain particular fan base whine and cry and all this other stuff because their team got blown out 24-3 in Norman and missed the playoff because of said loss, while if, say, they lost a certain particular game in October, a particular team would have been left out because of a bad loss to Arkansas, and nobody would have cared except for Vol Twitter.
Yeah, I don't think most reasonable Alabama fans, I think, are not bitching about that. And it's not even about getting beat at Norman. It's you got blown out at Norman, but you also lost at Vandy. Okay, so you lost any. Even Kalen DeBoer said, well, I wonder how other people would do if they played our schedule. Well, I don't know that they would lose at Norman and they would lose at.
It's got me.
But he also beat a good Missouri team to death, and he also beat Georgia, which was the number 2 team in the country. So he had good wins, but he had horrible losses. So all you had to do was win one of those games. Even if Tennessee, even if you set that aside and say, well, Tennessee at least was a decent team. Well, let's set that one aside.
It's not what God intended. The balls are over the tie. That's the way it should be. But if Tennessee would have lost that game, Tennessee would have been out of the playoff, and you know it.
What would they have been? 10-2?
They would have been
9-3. 9-3. Yeah, they would have been out. Well, they should be out at 9-3. Nobody should be in a 12 team. Right, in a 12 team. Yeah, nobody would have said anything about it. And I think that's why most Alabama fans are like, you know what? We went to Vanderbilt and got beat. Went to Oklahoma and got shelled. No, I think most reasonable Alabama fans. Now, the fact of the matter is, most people feel like Alabama would have boat raced SMU, Boise State, Arizona State, other teams that are in there.
But if
you know what I mean? Because those are Indiana.
12.
Yeah, I mean, what would Indiana have done if they played Alabama's schedule? Do you think Indiana's 11-1 against Alabama's schedule? No, Indiana's freaking 7-5 against Alabama's schedule, right? I mean, that was that point.
You play what is in front of you. Tennessee had to play Ohio State and got the buzzsaw. If it would have been different, if it would have been 1-12, Tennessee would have seen Ohio State in the semi because they would have beaten Georgia too because Carson Beck was having so many issues.
You think Ohio State would have beaten Georgia? Yeah. I think look, I think under any scenario, thanks for the comment. It's a good job of you. I think under any scenario, last year, and I'll fight anybody on this, I don't think there's a scenario where Ohio State doesn't win the national championship last year. I don't care how you stack them up. I don't care who you put in there. If we had this plan in place last year, do you know who Alabama would have played in the first round? Or in their first game? It wouldn't have been the first round, but in their first game in week 2, they would have played at Ohio State. And I don't think Alabama is beating Ohio State at Ohio State. Now when you can't beat Oklahoma and you can't beat Vandy, Ohio State beats Alabama last year. So I'm just saying Ohio State was going to win that national championship. But we're getting closer to having something that is a little more fair. All right, we got a break in here. When we come back, Kennington, Lloyd, Smith. He's up next. Thom Abraham Show.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Thom Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. You know, if you're a contractor installing fences, you need Valley Equipment Rental for augers of all sizes. And if you need a forklift to get those shingles up high on a roof, Valley Equipment has 10K lifts that reach to 56 feet. Valley also has tow-behind lifts that have a working height of 35 to 55 feet as well for power washing those two-story homes or doing whatever else you need to do. Lifts, forklifts, tow-behind lifts, 35 feet and up. They have your lift at Valley Equipment Rental. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental.
Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at SensaGreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellini's tonight.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Spring has sprung, so now is the time to get into Owen Home Appliance Center and check out the new shipment of scratch and dent items that they have at the Somerville location. They got a side-by-side refrigerator down there with water and ice, just $6.99. Or you can head to the highly interactive location at Lacey Springs and get the latest in appliance tech. I mean, you got to check out the 21 cubic foot upright frost-free freezer for just $7.99. It's Owen Home Appliance Center. Joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline is Kennington Lloyd Smith as the conversations continue down in Destin regarding a number of things, but the one that everybody is really talking about is the college football playoff and what type of scenario we will see in the future. Kenny, welcome back to the show, brother. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I am fantastic. Are you into the college baseball tournament at all? I mean, you know, as we get ready to get started with the sub-regionals and then the super regionals and then Omaha, do you get into it?
A little bit. You know, Georgia is doing well, then I'll watch it. Obviously, being here in Alabama, the baseball team had that run a couple years ago, and I know there was an outcry about them not being a regional seed this year, like a hosting seed. So yeah. I'll tune in and watch some of them as well. If nothing else, to watch Justin LeBron.
Yeah. No, I enjoy the baseball tournament a lot. I get into it. It's just so much else going on as well this weekend is, of course, with the NBA and the NHL playoffs and everything else. But so down in Destin, they're talking about a lot of different things, but the one that's on everybody's mind is schedule for the SEC. Let's start there. We're at an 8-game schedule. We're talking about a 9-game schedule forever. Regardless of whether or not it ends up being a, guaranteed 4 spots in the 16-team playoff or a 5+11 scenario or whatever, what's your thoughts on going to a 9th game? Why would that preclude the SEC from going to a 9th game, regardless of how difficult the conference is?
Yeah, I think the thing is, what is in it for the SEC to move to this 9th game? The conversation is kind of being framed, at least by Greg Sankey, in a way of saying, if we're going to move to 9 games, then we need to have some automatic qualifiers because we already played the toughest schedule, which historically is true. And adding a 9th game for the SEC team, I mean, that in a given year, let's take Alabama, for example, that could mean a game against Georgia or Texas or Oklahoma or South Carolina. Like, it could be, a lower level team, but that could be a high level game, that 9th extra game. So that's the basis of the conversation mostly is what is kind of in it for the SEC to go to a 9-game schedule, because there really is no reason for them to do so other than just to be uniform with everyone. I think, though, that their 8-game schedule and the rigor that it is carries enough value for them to still be present in the conversation, but to move to 9, I think for them is more so about trying to get that automatic qualifier, which you said that's been a conversation, the playoff. I think the conversation within the conversation is the automatic qualifier and how many leagues get what and how exactly it's going to work.
Well, yeah, and the thought process is if you tell me that I'm getting 4 for sure, we'll go ahead and play that 9th game. Right. But if you're telling me that you're not, then I've got to hit. Look, I think enough noise has been made. If you play 9 SEC games, and I get the depth of the league, there's no doubt about it, but I also see how much the talent is being spread out around the country now. But chances are you're going to have it's not like all 16 teams in the SEC are brutal. I mean, there are a few cupcakes in the SEC too, as well. But you play in that conference, and you get paid mightily to play in that conference. So, to me, if you tell me it's 5 plus 11, and what am I going to do? Fall out of the top 16 because I went 9-3? Are you trying to get in at 8-4? No. So 9-3 with a 9-game SEC schedule. 9-3 is going to land you in the top 16, which is going to put you in the playoff, even if it's a 5 plus 11 type of scenario. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then also the other part about it is, the SEC goes to 9 games, and they're going to go back to ESPN and say, okay, we need to rethink where this money is coming from, because we're adding a 9th game, which again, to our point earlier, it could be a high level game for a lot of these teams. Maybe it's a low level game, but it's likely going to be a high level game for some of those teams. You have to go and renegotiate that money. But I agree with what you're saying, that for the SEC, it's just kind of about insulating themselves. But I do think with a 16-team playoff, you really shouldn't have anything to worry about. I mean,
right.
In theory, there shouldn't have been anything to worry about with a 12-game playoff. But there are some things that happened that pushed some SEC teams down the list, right? Like Clemson's, surgeons up into the top of the five. Indiana, in a way, kind of a bit this like flash pan 11-1 season where they had a favorable schedule. There are some things that happened that kind of moved some SEC teams down it's hard to say a typical year when we're talking about college football, but usually you wouldn't expect for a 9-3 SEC team like an Alabama or Ole Miss who will beat Georgia to not get into a 12-team field. Certainly it is really unlikely in a 16-team field. But it is interesting that this conversation is kind of coinciding when a time when the SEC is like objectively down, having won a national championship in 2 years. Particularly quarterback play has been not great lately in the league as well. The SEC just hasn't been as good. So it's just a very interesting timing thing with this conversation of SEC is not as great. And now, Greg Sankey and the powers that be are talking about automatic qualifiers and all of these things, even though, and this is worth saying, the Big Ten is going to benefit just as much from this as the SEC will.
Yeah, and there are 18 teams versus the SEC 16. So if you're the Big Ten, you say, wait a minute, we're getting 4 out of 18. You get 4 out of 16. What's fair about that? But yeah, you're right. I mean, the SEC is a disaster now. I mean, there are 3-year-olds all over the country now that have never seen an SEC team win a national championship. Right. I mean, it's how crazy, it's how nuts that is. And look, I get it. That Indiana. Look, if Indiana played Alabama's schedule or Georgia's schedule or Florida's schedule, they would have been 8-4. They'd have been 7-5, 8-4, right? I mean, that's a reasonable thing to say. That's what they would have been if they played those team schedules. But they're in the Big Ten. They drew a favorable schedule in the Big Ten, and they took advantage of it. I mean, in what other sport do we have this scenario where, the Yankees are playing in a bad division right now, where everybody else in the division's under 500? So should we hold them back because they, no, we're going to put the Padres in ahead of them because they're in a more difficult NL West versus the Yankees playing. I mean, you don't do it that way, right? I mean, it's you play who's put in front of you and then let it sort out in the playoffs. As long as you got enough teams in there, you let it sort out there.
Right, exactly. And I think you hit that nail on the head. And also, that's just also kind of a funny conversation point. I heard Kalen DeBoer say something similar to that. I don't know if he was referencing Indiana, but he just said, you wonder if some of the teams played our schedule, what would have happened. And it's kind of funny. And there is some validity to it, but we also have to be honest about the fact that Alabama lost to Michigan's backup. Kind of got smacked around by Michigan's backup. And we lost to Oklahoma. And they lost to Vanderbilt. So this idea that if Alabama would have played Indiana's schedule, they would have gone undefeated. It's they kind of lost to 3 unranked teams last year. Yeah. Anyway, so we can't really guarantee that. It sounds good, but when you actually think about it rationally, it's would Alabama got 11-1 NES schedule? Maybe, but probably not, because again they lost to some pretty average teams last year as well. So it's like you said, sometimes it just is what it is, right? Like Texas, hiding in plain sight with no quality wins last year, was being propped up as a national champion favorite in the SEC. Their best win was Vanderbilt in the regular season. Well, I guess it was Texas A&M, but they didn't really beat anybody in the regular season that was a great team either. So sometimes it's just kind of what it is, and you have to blame conference realignment for that, and you have to blame these mega conferences for that, and no divisions, and all these other things that have kind of happened over the years that have kind of compounded onto each other that led to an event that happened last year.
So Kennington Lloyd Smith was here. So what I think is the two main talking points in terms of the college football playoff and how it'll be structured in 2016. I think everybody's off of the 14 thing. We're going to 16. I'd said that since the beginning, right when it went to 12. I said 2 years we'll go to 16. The 14 thing was clunky, and now we're hearing more and more that everybody's in on 16. So let's say it's 16. Then it comes down to this 4 + 4 + 2 + 2 + 1 scenario where the Big Ten and the SEC have a guaranteed 4 spots, so that they would have that little play-in thing too, which kind of sounds really cool. But then on the other hand, you have the risk of the number 6 team in the conference upsetting the number 3 team, and the whole season is wiped out, and you end up with Minnesota in the playoff or something like that. I don't mean to disparage the Gophers, but, whoever ends up being, the 6th team in that conference as opposed to the number 3 team actually earning a spot to go to the playoff versus the 5 + 11, where the 11 at-large spots should take care of all of that. Last year, if we had 5 + 11 last year, there would have been 6 SEC teams in the tournament. Well, what do you want? I mean, you don't need to have a guaranteed 4. What if in 3 years from now, the SEC's really down, like what happened to the ACC in basketball? Did anybody ever think the ACC in basketball would be the grease fire that it was? No. You always thought that the ACC was going to be a juggernaut. Well, what if, God forbid, the SEC or the Big Ten didn't have 4 worthy teams? So just do the 5 + 11 and play your way in. You're going to get 4, 5, or like the SEC would have 6 teams into the tournament. And then you don't look like you're just trying to guarantee yourself spots in the playoff. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think 5 + 11 is the right way to go. The automatic qualifier thing, like the 4 + 4, it sounds, I guess you could say good. It doesn't sound good to me, but like talking about it from that perspective, it sounds good in theory to just assume that the SEC and the Big Ten are just going to be like these juggernauts that are going to be so good all this time, and the ACC can never come up and be as good as one of them in a year, or the Big 12. Maybe it's a safe assumption, but it is a lofty one at the same time, like you said. And I'm not trying to go on a tangent here, but the idea that the SEC could go through a bit of a downtrodden period of time is not so inconceivable when you think about some of these programs and where they are right now and which way it could go. Like Alabama with Kellen DeBoer, LSU with Brian Kelly, Auburn, Oklahoma. These are schools that it could go either way. Like they could ascend to getting into a good point. Maybe they have some years where they're not expecting what they want. There could be some coaching turnover at a couple of these schools. We really just don't know. So just this idea that, it's always just going to be assumed that those ones are going to be the best is a lofty one. I just think that the automatic qualifiers for the conference champions and then the 11 at-large is the way to go. I do understand the 4-team SEC Big Ten format because I don't think that there's going to be any better way to incentivize the regular season and a conference race and the conference championships more than that, because, at that point, if you're like a Minnesota fan does not ever have to think about what the committee has to think about who they are. They just have to worry about where they are in the Big Ten standing. So it's going to provide an anchor for the regular season. Importance in the conference championship, importance what I think the SEC and Big Ten are trying to protect, especially the SEC and the SEC championship, is right up under the national championship in terms of importance and difficulty to win and prestige and all these things. But I still feel like the 5 + 11 format is the way to go. And it's the best way to accommodate, everybody, because, like you said, the SEC is going to have 6 teams. Last year, like Miami would have been in the 16th team field, right? We're talking about 2 automatically ACC, but in a year where you have SMU, Clemson, and then Miami. If Florida State ever gets their stuff together, right, you have to consider them in this conversation as well. Like there's room for more teams in these other conferences, the ACC and the Big 12, to have more qualified teams than just the 2 spots that they're going to be allotted, because we know that the at-larges are probably going to go to the SEC and the Big 10 anyway.
Yeah, the ACC would have had 3. The Big 12 would have had 1. So we're guaranteeing them 2 when they would have had 1 last year because they only have 1 team in the top 16.
Yeah, well, they're getting. Yeah. I mean, the Big 12 is getting a fair shake here, right? Like they're considered a power conference in numbers only, not in.
They're not. Yeah.
Really, like quality of teams. You know, no disrespect to like Arizona State, who probably should have beaten Texas, but just like if you look at their conference top to bottom, it's more wide than it is deep. So, 2 for them, I don't think is super egregious. No.
Kenneth and Lloyd Smith has been our guest. Kenny, I appreciate you so much, man. We'll keep the conversation going.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
It's a good break. We'll come back, set you up for hour number 2 on a fast-moving show. It's the Thom Abraham Show. More in a moment.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Braves visiting the Philadelphia Phillies today. A.J. Smith, Sean on the hill for Atlanta, 3-2, 3.67 ERA. Braves another 42 underdog. Zach Wheeler, 6-1, a 2.42 ERA. He's another 70 favorite for the Phillies, 8 under the total. Phillies yesterday blanked the Braves 2-0. Auburn Tigers hosting the Auburn Regional, the NCAA baseball tournament. They're a $7.20 favorite against Central Connecticut State in their first game on Friday. Alabama headed to Hattiesburg, Mississippi for that regional. The Crimson Tide, $1.54 favorite in their opener against Miami. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook. Thom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
This segment of the show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, where thousands of area residents have gotten world-class care from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group or orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. So if you have an orthopedic problem and you're considering professional care, TOC is the only logical choice. Whether you have a work-related injury or got sidelined playing a sport you love, you need the best care, the best physicians, the best facility to get you back in a game. And I think you're going to agree that the Orthopedic Center is right for you. Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, David Moulton is going to join us from Miller and Moulton in the morning. By the way, Joe, he'll be on the phone with us, not on the video feed. They need to give him a holler there. Take care of a little business there. We'll get a number of things with him and continue this conversation because we really haven't gotten to this whole double bye scenario yet as well, if it ends up being that way. But I think that there's more, the more discussion that there is, the more reasoning that there is for a 9-game schedule in the SEC, regardless of how the playoff sets up. I mean, as long as you're going to have 16 teams in the playoff, all I'm saying is that, you know, I get it. 9-3 teams are not going to get left out. They're not. And I don't care if Indiana goes 11-1. I don't care if Arizona State goes 11-1. I don't care if SMU goes 11-1. These people on the committee, they get it. They get it. We didn't think that 9-3 would get left out of a 12-team playoff when it was first introduced. And then it happened. And it took a scenario that you would have never, ever considered was going to happen. But it happened. But then 9-3 wouldn't get left out of a 16-team deal. 9-game SEC schedule or not. All right, coming up, David Moulton. Hour number 2 is next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal service.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. As the Knicks head home for Game 5 of the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals tomorrow, they find themselves staring at elimination. Down 3-1 to Indiana after the 131-21 loss in Game 4. New York had a tough start defensively, 17 turnovers that the Pacers turned into 20 points and could not slow down star Tyrese Halliburton. He had 32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, and 0 turnovers. Timberwolves face a must-win Game 5 West Finals tonight against the Thunder. 8 Eastern ESPN Radio, 8:30 Eastern ESPN. Oilers could be without a key player in their postseason success in the potential closeout Game 5 NHL's West Final tomorrow. Forward Zach Hyman exited last night's win over the Stars with an undisclosed injury. Panthers can end the Hurricane season and advance to the Stanley Cup Final a third straight year with a win in Game 5 of the East Final tonight.
You need to be more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. Guys know what they're talking about. Be a dog. God bless the show. You are the Messiah. We need more dogs. This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you. So settle in and get your bark on. Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elmer Pearson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here. And welcome back for a Humpday show here in the Doghouse. So glad that you are with us and so many different things to cover. I say that, but we're really spending a lot of time on what is going on down in Destin, but there are other things that are going on in the world, like actual sports, like the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs. We're getting ready for the baseball tournament to start. I'm fired up about it. Joe, you're fired up about it, right? I mean, you'll watch as much of the college baseball regionals this weekend as anything else, right? Don't you think that would be like right near the top of whenever you are in front of a TV, you'll be putting that on?
This is the best time that ESPN has their like strike zone coverage, and so you can they have an amazing one. I'll keep that on the entire weekend. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Love it. Absolutely love it. The baseball playoffs in the tournament. And so we'll be paying a lot of attention to that as well. Joining us now from Miller and Moulton in the morning. Those of you listening in Huntsville will hear that on News Talk Radio WZZN. And of course, they're on the Facebook and the Twitch and I don't even know if they're on the Facebook, YouTube. That's what I'm trying to say. They're on the YouTube, the Twitch, maybe Facebook. David joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. David, are you on the Facebook too, or just a YouTube and a Twitch and that stuff?
I think it's just YouTube and Twitch. So,
Okay.
I don't think we're on Facebook. Okay. I mean, we're on a bunch of different apps because we're on different stations and, every station has an app. And so, and millermoulton.com, you can download what you missed on the show. Like we had John Forsland on today for those of you into hockey.
Nice. John Forsland's great.
Yeah.
I would think on X you got links to it, right? People can go to your Facebook page here and get a link to it as well. So that's a lot of different ways to consume it. Of course, during the football season, David is out there with Gary Danielson on the road covering college football. He's threatening that this will be his last year since Gary is retiring.
No. I'm not threatening.
Right.
Okay. But trust me.
Don't make any guarantees.
No. Actually, I can. See, I'm in charge of this. Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is my last year of college football. Number 20, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I know.
Tom, I have 6 college trips to the Pacific time zone. 6. Yeah. I'm not in the SEC anymore where I can just
could be.
I could have been, but they wouldn't pay up.
No, I mean, you never know next year. What if somebody calls you next? I'm just saying you never say never. I said I'm retiring in February of 2028, but you never know, okay? You never know.
No, I know. No,
you never know.
I know. I mean, Thom, you've never seen a gig, okay, that you didn't like. I've seen a gig or two in which I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. So if one of the guys from ESPN that's covering all games within 3 hours of your house,
I've already gotten a couple of
for
phone
me.
calls from guys,
Okay, good.
and I've said, no, I'm done.
All right. You're still going to be traveling coast to coast though with Monday Night Football, as long as
But that's a lot less travel. I mean, it's one trip instead of two.
All right. I feel you. So David Moulton, who's retiring this year at the end of the season.
This is my last college year.
Man, but what if this is going to be pretty exciting stuff.
Here's the deal. There's not enough money in it. No one pays enough money on Saturdays for me to continue to do it on Saturdays.
I will be honest with you. I used to do a lot of stringer work. I used to work for CBS Sports Radio nationally and stuff. And it used to be pretty good pay. I mean, it was a pretty good pay and expenses covered and everything else. And that deal went kind of south. It got cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And then, there's some kid that's an intern somewhere that's willing to do it for $75 or something. You can't compete with that. I mean, it does get kind of crazy. You would think that everything went up, but in certain jobs, sometimes it goes the other way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've lobbied hard for raises, and they look right at you and say, we can get another one, look just like you.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, younger, better looking, and cheaper.
Yes.
So, okay. Plus, also, to be serious for a second, the broadcasters usually pick the spotters, not the networks. There was a time when networks just provided the spotter, and the broadcaster and spotter had to learn how to work together and trust each other. That's gone by the wayside. The broadcaster brings the spotter with them, and that's it. You're out of a job. So, could I work with Charles Davis next year? It's possible. I mean, Charles and I know one another, maybe. But if Charles has a spotter, I'm done.
So what I understand the connection with Gary. Gary lives there in Southwest Florida where you used to live, and you guys, had a relationship previous to all of that. How did you get hooked up with Aikman? I forget how that all happened.
All right, I'll make this as quick as possible. Gary and Joe Buck have the same agent. Gary was talking to Marvin Demoff after Joe's first year of golf, and there was just Joe wanted a spotter for golf. And Gary said to the agent, well, I got a guy. We do golf all the time on the phone. Trust me, he was a caddy, was a 3 handicap back in the day. He could do golf. So I had to try out with Joe. Joe was like, yeah, okay. And so I latched on with Joe doing golf. I did 4 years of golf with Joe, 2016 through 19. And near the end of our 2018 season together, Troy decided he had never had a spotter before. And Troy decided, you know what? I want a spotter. Everybody else has spotters. I don't have one. Maybe, how about a spotter? And so Troy didn't know anybody, though. And so Troy hired Babe Laufenberg, his buddy, teammate,
former player,
radio voice of the Cowboys, analyst, to do Thursday nights, because at the time Fox still had Thursdays. But Joe forced me upon Troy. Troy didn't know me at all. Joe said to Troy, I got a guy. Troy's like, and so Joe kind of forced me upon Troy, and it worked.
Yeah. And now you're boys. Now you guys are boys, and you go over there. You stay, go to Dallas, hang out in his crib, and
I've been invited over twice for dinner along with some other people on the crew. Let's take it easy, okay? I have flown on Air Aikman a few times when I need it. I ask. Okay, that is nice. Not everybody can get on Air Aikman. That is true. Okay, but let's take it easy on the boys.
How's the beer? How's the 8 beer? Have you had an 8 beer? One at least?
Actually, it's
good.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I'm waiting for the day when like a big boy company buys it and takes it coast to coast. It's actually really good.
Isn't he being sued by somebody though? Who's the guy that doesn't want anybody else to be 8?
No. He's won all that stuff. That was Lamar Jackson.
Oh, he beat Lamar Jackson back on that deal.
Yeah, he beat Lamar. I think lost everything on the whole 8. He went after Dale Jr. as well. I mean, but I think Lamar got shut out on all that.
Went after Ovechkin, Lamar, or Dale Jr. He went after.
I mean, I think you need to get to and win a Super Bowl to have a better shot in court. That's just me, though.
Speaking of Junior, just to go off topic here for a second, have you seen any of the Earnhardt documentary that's on? Isn't that outstanding? I thought I knew everything I knew about Earnhardt. He's my favorite, racer of all time. And I have learned things in each episode so far. I can't wait till episode 3 comes up on Thursday. But I think it's fantastic. Then the throwback stuff, the way it's shot. The only thing that bothers me is I can't believe how old 1985 looks. They're like 1987 at Rockingham. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It was like 3 years ago. I mean, it looks like grainy 50s stuff. I mean, it's crazy, but what an excellent job they've done on that.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to get the director of the series on the day it debuted.
Oh, wow.
And he just talked about the footage that they were able to get their hands on. And I was with you, Tom. I'm like, come on. I interviewed Dale. Come on. Right? Are you really going to tell me something that I don't know? I've been a NASCAR fan since, the mid 80s. And the video is stuff that none of us have ever seen before. The access. And yes, I found it outstanding. And for what it's worth, I thought Amazon's coverage of the Coca-Cola 600 was outstanding.
Yeah, incredible. The sound. Well, first of all, Adam Alexander and Junior and Letarte, I mean, they're as good as anybody. Adam Alexander, I mean, stop with the limeys doing my races. That guy on NBC and then the guy that did the Indy 500. I stopped that. Okay, this is America. Give me American voices when we're these great American races. But having said that, I think Adam Alexander's is outstanding. But I could not believe the audio. I mean, I was like, and then on Monday or Tuesday, somebody posted and they said, was it just me or did the audio sound incredible of the car? And I'm like, oh, God, I can't believe somebody else is saying this. And then it turned out a lot of people were saying it. The sound was so good, and it's so important for NASCAR. And I had the guy on from The Athletic yesterday that did the poll that said 91% of the people said it was a good race. And we talked about how they were kind of faked into thinking it really wasn't a great race. It was a pretty good finish, but it wasn't a great race.
Well,
the television coverage was so good that people think it was a great race because TV was so good.
Yeah. Now, I will say the last 100 laps, you had the 2 and then a 3-car shootout. And if you're staying with the Coca-Cola 600 through the first 400 miles or 450 miles, you're going to stay with it through the final 100 laps. I'm a Chastain fan, so it worked out great for me. I also thought the pictures were great.
The video was fantastic.
Yeah. And the aerials, whoever was doing the aerials, whether it was drone, whether it was blimp, whatever, I thought their aerials covering the race from up high was the best I'd ever seen.
And my understanding is that, of course, 4 more races on Prime now, including Nashville this week down the street here. So we'll have that. But my understanding is it'll be the same crew. It's the same talent and the same production arm that'll be doing the 5 races that follow on TNT. So we're going to get a 10-race window of this before they hand off to NBC. Hopefully NBC is learning something from this coverage. So it's not just these next 4 races on Prime. It's also going to be the 5 on TNT. So that's good as well.
I don't know about you, Tom, but in the feedback that you get from your audience, I have never, now it's only been a few years that we've had big time sports on streaming. Yeah. I have never had a streaming service air an event and have people clamoring for the games or the race to go from network to streaming. And every NASCAR fan who reached out was like, however much it costs, I don't care. Can we get Amazon to do all the races?
Yeah.
All the races.
You're no doubt. And it's, and especially NASCAR fans hate change, for the most part, hate change. And I could not believe the response to this. This is a seminal moment for streaming because, we bitched about the Netflix football games, the NFL games on Netflix, and the Thursday night games on Prime, which were, ironically, the audio was the biggest problem for the first 2 years of Thursday night football on Prime with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. One of the biggest issues was the audio. It was all jacked up sounding and it wasn't level with the broadcasters. They nailed that race. Nailed it. Yeah, nailed it. David Moulton with us here. All right, let's get to the elephant in the room, which is taking place down in Destin, as it seems to be there's been a little bit of a shift from the SEC in terms of, their insistence upon this 4-4-2-2-1 scenario for a 16-team playoff to this 5+11 type scenario. Your thoughts on those two things and what you think looks better?
Well, if you're the SEC, I don't understand why the ADs and Greg Sankey wouldn't prefer 5+11.
Right.
All right, because if you put up a natural roadblock of we have to get 4 guaranteed teams in, well, then there's going to be a little bit of an inclination to not want to give the SEC and the Big Ten a 15. Because it's already, hey, you've already got your fill, you force this down our throats, etc. It would just be basic human nature. Okay, now let's do 5+11. SEC last year would have gotten 6.
Yep.
They would have gotten 6. How many years with a 16-team playoff would the SEC not get at least 5? I would think 9 out of 10 they would get 5 bids, honestly.
Yeah.
So why lock yourself in at 4? The only thing I don't like is that Sankey and the ADs were pushing for the 4 auto bids and going to the 9-game league schedule. The coaches are pushing for 5+11 and staying with an 8-game league schedule. To me, if they could just go 5+11 and 9, bingo. In fact, I'll say this, Tom, if I'm the ACC and the Big 12, because my understanding is you need a unanimous vote, I would not give the SEC what they want unless they went to 9-game league schedule. I just wouldn't. I'd say the answer is no. You go to 9-game league schedule, I'll go with whatever you want to come up with, but you got to go to 9.
Now, the unanimous vote thing ends with 2025. That comes to it. So, which was amazing that they got the unanimous vote to go to straight seeding for 2025. ECC and the Big 12 would have blocked that, but they didn't. So they went for it, but beginning for 2026, the SEC and the Big 10 have the hammer. I mean, they're the ones that are going to basically determine this. They get 68% of the money. They're the ones that are going to have the big hammer with it. But I agree with you.
What's the vote, though? Like, how many no votes can they afford?
I don't know that exactly, but I don't even know that there's any. I think honestly, I think that the Big 10 and the SEC are driving the bus. I think they're the ones that are going to make that determination. I don't know that they need a consensus, but we'll check that. That's a good question to have. But having said that, I agree with you on the 9 games. First of all, ESPN is already starting to come around to the fact that it's going to cost them more money. You thought back in the day when ESPN ponied up with this huge contract that obviously they were going to 9, that they were going to get that inventory. It came out that no, they didn't. They're paid for 8. That's it.
Yeah. Well, Sankey,
ESPN's going to pony up.
Yes, and ESPN's already said they're willing to pony up, and I think every school would get an additional $5 million, okay, for the extra conference game. But the coaches are totally against it. The coaches are like, no, that could be a loss. Sorry.
So what? All right, listen. 9. Look, the sticking point was the 9-3 SEC teams: South Carolina, Alabama, and Ole Miss. 9-3 SEC teams. How could you leave them out? Well, they got left out because it was a perfect storm where you had an 11-1 SMU team and you had a Arizona State and 11-1 Indiana. It was a perfect storm that squeezed out Alabama as the next team up at 9-3. But in a 16-team scenario, I don't care if you play 9 SEC games, 10 SEC games. If you go 9-3 in the SEC, you are going to be in. Everybody gets it. We know that the schedule is different and the conference is different. You're going to get in. What do you want, 8-4? If you go 8-4, the heck with you. You don't deserve to be playing in the tournament anyway. So I don't understand why they don't go 9, take the money, and then, okay, maybe instead of having, Alabama and this year Florida and a couple of other teams playing 2 big-time games out of the conference, maybe they'll go back to playing 1 and still have 2 cupcakes.
Well, listen, as a fan, forget media member, we want more good games.
Yeah.
And so, you're the biggest, baddest conference. So could you give us one more conference? Everybody else playing 9, right? Except the ACC. I mean, hello. Could you give us 9? But coaches don't like to schedule losses, Tom. This just in, or even potential losses. And so what they want is they want 8 They want to be able to schedule, because half the conference is a big rivalry non-conference game. And then everybody else wants to be able to schedule one marquee non-conference game and then 2 guaranteed wins. Well, there are schools like Georgia, South Carolina, Florida. Florida's got to play Florida State every year. It's literally mandated by law. Okay, right. So then if you're going 9 conference games in Florida State, Florida can never seemingly schedule a big non-conference game. I get it. It's why USC is wanting to drop Notre Dame, because they don't want to play, or they already played 9 Big Ten games. They want to play a marquee non-conference game early in the year. And Notre Dame's game is in October or November, depending on where the game is. And so USC wants to drop Notre Dame. To me, we the fans in many ways are getting told, you got to deal with a lot of right now. Okay, we're only asking for a few more better games. Can you guys suck it up? Every one of you coaches in Destin whining makes between $7 and $12 million a year. Shut up and cash the check.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want to complain about, we play a more difficult schedule. You also get paid more than anyone else in college football. Outside of the school, Big Ten makes a little bit more, but SEC coaches make a fortune. SEC schools make a fortune. Live with it, and go 9-3. So what? You played 9 games. And look, this just in, with the transfer portal and the talent getting spread much more all throughout the country, it's not like the SEC doesn't have a few bad teams in there. I mean, come on. I mean, there are some wins in there. It's not like you're going to be playing the top 9 teams in the SEC if you do it. I agree. 5+11 is a better look, too, because I think when you say we got to have 4, whether you're the Big Ten, which would have had 4 last year in a 16-team scenario, if it was a 5+11, the SEC would have had 6. If you say we got to have 4, what happens 3 years from now, God forbid, when there actually is a down year and you're forcing a team that doesn't deserve to be there? And that could happen. Well, I mean, it happened to the ACC in basketball.
The other thing that's not being talked about, that is the hidden genius of the 5+11. The 5+11, I believe, makes the conference championship game more meaningful. Not that the loser of the conference title game is not going to get in, but first off, they've already said you win your conference, you get $8 million. You're an at-large, you get 4. So right then and there, it's a $4 million game. Okay, never mind the seeding and what have you. Now they're talking about with these automatic bids, the conference championship game might not even be for the conference championship. It might be 4th versus 5th or whatever. Enough already. You're changing this sport a lot on us in an hour and a half. Could you not change everything? Okay, please.
Yeah, David Moulton with us. All right. The one thing I didn't know, I guess, I wasn't real well versed in the double bye scenario that is part of the 5+11. I thought it would be 1 plays 16, 2 plays 15, and so on. No buys, 8 home games for the top 8 seeds, and so on and so forth. But part of this 5+11 proposal is this double bye.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's totally stupid.
Kind of stupid. Yeah. I mean, you go all the way to the Final Four. Now, I guess it means that would mean the SEC and Big Ten championship really means something. You go straight to the Final Four, but it doesn't seem right. It's confusing. No.
And to me, now you're overanalyzing a 3-car funeral. If you're trying to come up with this double bye scenario, honestly, we're going to 16 for the money. So then, okay, just add the games, which, by the way, we're doing why? For the money. Why do buys? You want more games and more money. Play them.
Good point, Dave Moulton. All right, before I let you go, look, I'm not looking at this from orange and blue eyes. I'm not, okay? But the New York Knicks are going to obviously, what happened. Game 1 is going to cost them this series. I mean, that ridiculous loss in game 1 when they were up so much is going to cost them this series. If they go home and win tomorrow night in game 5 and go back to India, they can win a game there. Can they still save this thing? I mean, does game 6, if there's a game 6, does game 6 become game 6 and game 7 if New York can figure out a way to get back to Indiana and save ABC's bacon? Because OKC, which was 29-1 against the Eastern Conference, won, and it was Cleveland that got 1 win. If OKC and Indiana are in the final, they might as well not even show it. I mean, put it on Nickelodeon because nobody's watching that. They need the Knicks in the final.
We had some fun today saying what is the Super Bowl equivalent to OKC Indiana? What is the World Series equivalent to OKC Indiana? You could do a whole 20-minute segment on it. So I'm just throwing it out there to have some fun with if, in fact, it happens. Tom, I'll give you two things. First off, in 94 and 95, the Knicks went to Indiana down 3-2 and won both game sixes. It can be done. They won the 94 series in 7. They lost the 95 series in 7. Secondly, they're likely going to rue the day. We're 4 games into the series. The Knicks have lost a game when they scored 121 in regulation and 125 in regulation. Ironically, Tom, the Knicks were built for Boston. They went and upgraded their wings, Anunoby and Bridges, for Tatum and Brown. And ironically, they're now a step slow for the Pacers. All right. And so that's the irony. Okay. They changed their team for Boston, but now they don't match up with the youth and the speed of Indiana.
You don't have to run with them. Why are they trying to run with them? Why are they not forcing that thing to slow down?
Well, because they feel they have a pretty big mismatch on the other end of the floor as well. They're bigger, stronger. They won the boards by 11 last night. So it's a double-edged sword. But to me, Tom, the Knicks likely will not be able to play defense for 3 straight games well enough to win one of them to win the series. And yes, they likely lost the series when they blew the 14-point lead with 3 minutes to go in game 1.
Yeah, I think they had 20-point lead earlier in that game.
And an 8-point lead with 41 seconds to go.
I'm going to say Texans Cardinals. Would that be the Super Bowl equivalent to OKC in Indiana? Texans.
How about Houston, Carolina?
Houston and Carolina.
I do think you have to pick them from the respective Southern divisions right now. If you're looking for, the matchup that maybe, although Arizona is from the West, but I would pick, Jacksonville against, I don't know, pick a team. Probably Carolina.
When the Titans played the Rams, they were like, "Oh my God, this is awful." The Rams, coming off a 3-13 season, they were St. Louis Rams. They were terrible. And then the Titans were the first year of the Titans. Nobody even knew what a Titan was, and that ended up being one of the highest rated Super Bowls because it was a great game.
Well,
so, it could be that, but this isn't going to be a great series if it's OKC in Indiana. I don't think.
To me, this is going to be the equivalent 2 years ago. The World Series was Arizona, Texas.
Oh gosh, lowest rated World Series ever. Ever. It's crazy. All right, and possibly a rematch in the Stanley Cup final. So we're looking like, and I think it'll be fascinating. I think it'll be great hockey. When the numbers are awful in the U.S. right now for championship, the conference finals, but I really do believe you got to add in Canada. I think this is the one time where you say, look, stop with just the U.S. This is a North America thing. You got to look at Canada and the U.S., and when you add them together, they're pretty good numbers. They're pretty strong. So
this would be the third rematch in a little over 40 years. Islanders Edmonton in 83-84. Islanders won in 83. Edmonton won the rematch. 08-09, Pittsburgh Detroit. Detroit won 08. Pittsburgh won the rematch in 7. So it is interesting. I think Florida would be a slight favorite in the rematch. But in the last 40 plus years, the 2 times we had the rematch, the team that lost the first year won the second.
I think it's only happened 10 times ever. And you're talking about a lot of years when there was only 6 teams, all the way to 1968. There was only 6 teams in the league. And yet it only happened a total of 10 times in the history of the NHL. So David Moulton has been our guest. David, I appreciate you so much. Good, lively conversation there. And we'll keep it going.
Remember, if you're making, this applies to all your listeners making between $7 and $12 million a year, shut up and cash the checks.
Wait a minute. Who's making between 7 and 12 million? Well,
all the SEC football coaches whining about playing another conference game.
Oh, you said for your listeners. I thought you were talking about my listeners that are making between 7 and 10.
Yes, that's what I mean. This applies to all your listeners making between 7 and 12 million a year. Tom, I've seen your demos. Okay, trust me.
It's true. That's true, especially in Nashville now. That's true. I mean, we got Darius Rucker called the show. You know what I mean? I mean, he makes between 7 and 10 million a year.
Or in a month that ends in Why? Right.
Why?
Right.
All right, man. Appreciate you as always.
All right. Be good.
That's it. It's a true story. Joe, you worked in Nashville. That's always cool when you find out that, Hank Williams Jr. is listening, or Darius Rucker called in twice, and guys like that. And this is a true story, by the way, in Nashville. And I was there for many years, and happy to be back on there again. The sports guys are more excited to talk to music guys than they are other sports guys. Are more excited to talk to sports guys than they are other music guys. That's a true story, Joe.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's accurate. That's very accurate.
Yeah. I mean, Vince Gill would come out and all he wanted to do is talk about the Predators. That's all he wanted to do is talk about the Predators. They want to talk music. They want to talk Amy Grant. They want to talk about any of that stuff. Preds and golf. That's all you want to ever talk about. Preds and golf. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, we go open lines. The rest of what is this double buy thing? Try to explain that as well. And let's get some phone calls going here. 256-576-4977. We've been talking about it now for an hour and a half. Want to hear your opinion. More right after this on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Braves visiting the Philadelphia Phillies today. A.J. Smith, Sean on the hill for Atlanta, 3-2, 3.67 ERA. Braves $1.42 underdog. Zach Wheeler, 6-1, a 2.42 ERA. He's $1.70 favorite for the Phillies, 8 under the total. Phillies yesterday blanked the Braves 2-0. Auburn Tigers hosting the Auburn Regional, the NCAA baseball tournament. They're a $7.20 favorite against Central Connecticut State in their first game on Friday. Alabama headed to Hattiesburg, Mississippi for that regional. The Crimson Tide, $1.54 favorite in their opener against Miami. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day, Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, It's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
When the biggest names in aerospace, financial services, and electronics needed office and manufacturing space in Huntsville, they called Samples Properties, and they've been doing it for over 40 years. When Huntsville first began to grow, so did Samples Properties. You can trust your business to Samples Properties and their deep knowledge of the commercial real estate market in Huntsville and Madison. When you're in the market for commercial real estate and you need a partner who knows how to make your plans come together, Samples Properties can guide you through all the legal, financial, and regulatory hurdles. And if you just need office space to start or grow your business, Samples Properties is the call you need to make. Go to samplesproperties.com to see the impressive list of clients that have profited from the knowledge and integrity of Samples Properties. For commercial real estate development and consultation, trust your business to Samples Properties, with offices on Madison Street in downtown Huntsville. Samplesproperties.com.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. I know you think it's just for the big contractors. It's not. It's for you, the homeowner, as well. They got 2 locations, North Parkway, South Parkway, and this is the time to snag a pressure washer and get those surfaces clean and outshine your neighbors, or maybe a small trencher to run that sprinkler system that you want to get installed, or a tiller. They even got Skag zero-turn mowers down there. Check it all out at Valley Equipment Rental, North Parkway, South Parkway. And welcome back to Thom Abraham Show. Phone lines are open 256-576-4977. Gotta get you in kitty corner or catty corner. Those of you listening on 97.7 ESPN The Zone in Huntsville heard that great Tellini's commercial for Steve Moulton, but he said it was catty corner across from somebody's. Catty corner? The heck is catty corner? It's kitty corner, isn't it? Joe, is it kitty corner or catty corner? Who says catty corner?
English has never been my best language.
Well, I mean, you've heard the term kitty corner, right? It's kitty corner across, you're sitting kitty corner across from me, right? Catty corner? Is it catty corner or kitty corner? Catty corner. Doesn't make any sense. All right. Speaking of making sense, let's go to the phone lines. LSU Lynch is up first. LSU Lynch, welcome in. How are you?
How are you?
I am fantastic. Good to hear from you, my friend.
Hey, man. Was you in a fishing tournament?
I was in a fishing tournament not last week. Oh, yeah, I was. Saturday. I was on Old Hickory Lake in a fishing tournament up in Nashville.
How is it that you don't win, at least come in third the place with a banjo minnow that vibrate, light up in the water?
I need to be throwing a banjo minnow because I wasn't catching anything on what I was throwing. I just small fish.
Mm-hmm. And look here, just want to give a shout out. Cotton Row Run, I've been in the same place. I look forward to that. When they come down off the mountain, it was a great race. Hey, look at Saul Grizz.
Grizz ran. Did he run in the Cotton Row Run, or was he just walking around?
2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. I stay in the same spot
good for him.
for 20 years. Yeah.
Good for him. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you're going to hear more about the Cotton Row Run in the not too distant future. Just stay tuned on that. There's something special coming up with the Cotton Row Run that you're going to hear about. Now, you never run in the thing, right? You just watch it come down off the hill.
Look here, I ain't running in that. I'm with you. Look here, they are doing 4 to 5 minute miles.
No, they are not.
Yes, they are.
No, they are not. 4 minute miles. How many is it a half marathon or what? How far is the Cotton Row Run?
Yeah, it start downtown and go up the mountain, and then come down on Pratt and take a left on Grayson, and then they got about a mile 1.5 from right there.
What's you don't know the total length of the Cotton Row Run? Joe, do you know the total length of the Cotton Row Run?
Right now, I ain't trying to think about that right now.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got a combustion engine vehicle for that. I got a motorcycle. I can ride the Cotton Row Run on my motorcycle. I don't need to be running out there.
The white man that was winning the race, he was a half mile ahead of the second place.
Wow.
Cotton Row runs a 10K, a 5K, as well as a 1 mile.
So a 10K, a 5K, and a 1 mile. Now I have run a mile back in the day when I was a football player. I've run a mile. I ran about a 6:10 mile with my football gear on. With my gear, we used to have to run it with our uniform, shoulder pads, helmet, the whole 9 yards. I ran about a 6:10 mile. That was about it. But that was 50 years ago, 30 or 45 years ago. I don't know about doing that now.
I'll say 2 more things, and hopefully somebody will call in. Grumpy. Look here. Number 3, LSU baseball. I love them. They're going to suck it up. They sucked it up in the dadgum SEC tournament. And, come on, man. Oh, Mississippi and Vandy, come on. And then the 4th thing, I told my boys play soccer for Westminster, and my youngest started kicking last year, as a freshman.
Yeah.
He's going down Monday to the Alabama camp, and then they going the next day to the Auburn camp.
Nice. Where's your nephew end up? Where did he end up going to transfer?
They were saying he may be selling condoms right now. I don't know. Go LSU.
Okay. Appreciate you. It's the quickest hang up in the South right there. He has no faith in LSU. He's LSU Lynch, but he has no faith in LSU. Kind of weird. So the unknown texter hit the text window with, for some reason today, you seem to be trying to talk some sense into Alabama fans. You have to know that is hopeless. I disagree with that. I've been here 20 years. I got a sense of it. I texted him back. I said, look, there are more reasonable Alabama fans out there than you think. Just, you don't hear them on Feinbaum. That's the only problem. Ones that are calling in and because it doesn't sell. It's not good radio for them to be reasonable. They need to call in and be unreasonable, be nuts. And then people think that everybody's that way. He said, maybe, maybe not. He says, I've listened and worked in this state all my life. I've been around Alabama and Auburn fans all of my life. You may not know quite as much as you think you do. You might just think it is that way. And I never listened to Feinbaum. All right. I'm telling you, I don't think everybody is. They were 9-3 and they lost at Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. And every opportunity yes, I know they had some great wins. And I get it. There were 3 or 4 teams in the tournament that they would probably handle. I get it. But most of the Alabama fans that I talk to are like, you know what? Beat Vanderbilt. Joe, I think Alabama fans are very, very reasonable, don't you? You've worked in the state for a number of years. I think I think Alabama fans are very well grounded and reasonable. This is what I think about fans. I think Alabama fans are extremely passionate and they have this really high bar that's unreasonable that is set. It's like if they're not winning or playing in the national championship every year, something, they already want to fire some of them. Kalen DeBoer. Oh, this guy doesn't have it. This guy cannot take over for Saban. So I think that but it's because of that bar that's up there, that 17, that's way up there. And so that, 9-3, look, Auburn fan right now to sell their soul for 9-3. They give anything for a Gus Malzahn 9-3. Anything. But Alabama fan 9-3, and they're ready to fire everybody. So I get that. Auburn fan has a I don't want to say a defeatist, but they're almost, hey, look, we're family. We're better people than you are. Winning isn't the most important thing in the whole world. I think they're more self-deprecating. That's my take on Auburn fan. I think Auburn fan is kind of resigned to the fact that, maybe once a decade we're going to rise up against the evil empire. But it's okay because we're Auburn. And that's how I feel about Auburn. I think Auburn fan, and it's not a negative. I'm not saying, I think Auburn fan feels that way. And then Tennessee fan, I think Tennessee fan is the most myopic. I've dealt with a lot of Tennessee fans. I think Tennessee fan is the most myopic. I think Tennessee fan, they won the second most number of SEC championships. I think it's still that way. I don't think Georgia. I don't think anybody's passed. I think they're number 2 to Alabama in terms of SEC championships. But Tennessee fan is the most myopic, meaning I think Tennessee fan always feels like they're really much better than what they really are. Stop me if I'm lying, Joe. You've worked in all of these markets. Vanderbilt fan, Vandy fan is like, oh yeah, well, when you need surgery, come and see me. That's Vandy fan. Vandy fan is like, oh yeah? Let me know when you need a job. Come see me. Oh yeah? When you dislocate your knee, come see me. I'll do your surgery. Tennessee fan is like, yeah, we're the greatest program ever. Auburn fan is like, we're a family, and we're better people than you, and we're going to get you. We'll get you every once in a while. Alabama fan is like, everybody to the back of the bus. 9-3? This sucks. Crimson Carl is up. Crimson Carl, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing fabulous. How about yourself?
I am tremendous.
Nice. First of all, I want to say, man, thank you for this great weather we got today. No rain on me.
It's beautiful out there right now. I mean, last
Yes,
I saw,
sir.
right now I got all the windows are covered up. But, yeah.
Yeah, but I have the Drafecta tickets for tonight for the Trash Pandas, and
Oh, nice.
Got a little 2-year-old grandson. He don't know what's going on yet, but he loves watching baseball. He loves watching hockey. So
nice.
It's going to be a good day. Good day.
Love it.
But I agree with you on the Alabama thing. We didn't belong in there last year. We couldn't beat Oklahoma or friggin' Vandy. So, yeah. I mean, a true Alabama fan, if you don't belong there, you don't get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And not just Vandy, friggin' Vandy. I mean, it's just.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And also, it is Caddy Corner.
Caddy Corner? Caddy Corner.
It's Caddy Corner.
Oh.
Maybe up in Rochester, New York, it's that Kitty Corner could put. Down here. But anyway,
Apparently.
man, I just thought I'd say, hello. I ain't called in a while, but thanks for the tickets, and really looking forward to tonight.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Yes.
According to AI, which we know is smarter than anybody, in the southern U.S., caddy corner is more common, while kitty corner is favored in other parts of the country, including the North and the Midwest. So it's a regional thing. So in the South, it's caddy corner, and in the North and in the West, it's kitty corner. The heck knew? Text window saying all of one fan base is unreasonable. As a Bama fan, I do not want to see them in a playoff with losses to Oklahoma and Vandy. Win your games, Chubby Ninja. See? How reasonable they are? Let's get a break. Come back. Final segment is next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
There is power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
This is Steve Moulton for Lee's Magic Tunnel. Do you live out of your car? Does your car look like you've been well lived in? Then take your vehicle to Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway. Any size of the vehicle, it doesn't matter. Lee's will get it clean. Offering many types of washes, but getting it clean inside and out. Ask for the manager special. That's at Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway, and located online at leesmagictunnel.com for more information.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back for another homestand at Toyota Field, May 27th through June 1st. Promotions include Bring Your Cat Night on the 29th, post-game fireworks on the 30th, and the first 1,000 fans will receive a giveaway item for Harry Potter Night on Saturday, May 31st. Get your tickets for the homestand now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at sensagreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford's award-winning service department for the routine checkups to keep your Ford or other brand in working order. But they can also take care of bigger problems as well because they got expert service technicians down there, and they're going to quickly diagnose your problem and use state-of-the-art tools to get it resolved. They also have a great mobile service where they can come out to you. You need to check it all out. You need to make an appointment today. Do it at WoodyAndersonFord.com. That's WoodyAndersonFord.com. Final segment, Thom Abraham Show. I had fun with this show. All right, let's get one more in. Eric is up next. Eric, welcome to the show. How are you, man?
Tom, thank you, sir. Hey, long-time listener, first-time caller. I really appreciate your show. Just want to let you know I'm a huge Bama fan, and I was a Bama fan back way before Saban when we couldn't buy a win. And I mean this in the most sincere way possible, no offense, but you could not have called out your non-Southern heritage anymore when you're talking about caddy corner versus kitty corner. I'm sorry.
Kitty corner.
I've never
This
heard
sounds
kitty
so
corner.
You've never even heard kitty corner? I mean, it was always kitty corner.
I have family from Indiana and the Midwest. I have never heard kitty corner. And my forehead is red from slapping it, from you saying it so many times.
Oh, my
caddy
gosh.
corner.
Caddy
so
corner.
just
I'd
so you
never
know.
heard caddy corner. Yeah, that's crazy. Where are you listening to the show, by the way?
No, in Huntsville.
Huntsville. Okay, all right.
Yeah, here in Huntsville. But anyway, a while ago you were talking about characterizations of the fans. You know, the Auburn fan, how they're resigned. They're just all family. I think Tennessee fans. I lived in Knoxville for a number of years. They are very underrated of how overrated they think their team is. It's ridiculous.
That's
myopic. I just want to throw that out there. There's nothing like a Tennessee ball fan, and to this day, they're the same.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% there. Thanks for the call, Eric. Don't be a stranger, brother. Make sure you keep it coming.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know where Nature Boy went. I had Nature Boy in here somewhere, for our first time caller. So I appreciate him getting in there on the first time. Come on, Joe. I mean, am I lying about Tennessee fan? Tennessee fan every year, like that. And we're great, man. We're Tennessee fan. Come on, they got a high opinion of themselves.
I mean, everything you're saying about Tennessee fan, all I should be hearing is Alabama fan.
No, Alabama fan has a leg to stand on, all them national championships and stuff. And so they get all bent out of shape if they don't go, double-digit wins at the minimum, double-digit wins. Tennessee fan thinks that they've had 17 national championships, but not really. I know. It's been a minute since they won, an SEC championship, or just the way it is. The way it is. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. Got a big one scheduled for you tomorrow. I say that. I have no idea what we're doing tomorrow, but we're going to have a good show. Appreciate you listening. Joe Hunk mixed the show. My name's Thom Abraham. Have yourself a great day, everybody.
This is SportsCenter.